So with that, Claire, I'm going to hand it over to you because you've got a jam-packed presentation. So as a reminder today, we're doing pricing for profitability. Claire is going to give you some great strategies. She's going to talk about some services. She's going to give you an overview of even what you can expect to make in a year from these services. I'm not joking. Claire is the best. So with that, Claire, I'm going to let you take over. I'll pop off my camera and I'll keep an eye on the time and make sure we save some time at the end for Q&A. Everybody have a great day. Enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm just sharing my screen, so hopefully you guys can see that. Yes, thank you, Sarah. Thank you to Mydoma for having me here today. I'm really excited about this presentation that I put together for you, and it's a really important one because we need to be pricing our services for profit. Because if we're not making a profit, as much as it's a passion and what we do, we still need to be making money in our business. So thank you for being here today. If I'm sure Sarah will let me know if you guys can't see my screen, but I'm going to hop right in because it's really, I got a lot to talk about, to share with you guys. I can't see any comments or questions, so I'm not ignoring you, but like Sarah said, we'll get to those after. But hello, and thank you for having me here today. Okay. So just a little bit about myself, in case there's some of you there who are not familiar with who I am. So I'm a certified interior decorator, and I started my firm in 2011. It's an award-winning firm. Really proud to be the highest reviewed professional design professional in the Toronto area. We call that the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area. We have over 120 reviews. I'm also a business coach within the design industry. And in 2022, I developed my signature course to help designers build this solid foundation and structure for their business, because this is what I noticed over the years of running my own business and then coaching other designers for 6-7 years, that if you don't have the foundation and there's certain things that you're skipping, maybe because you got busy or you didn't know that it was needed, then things can start to crumble. You get bad clients, you get resentful, you don't get paid what you should. So the Interior Design Boss Academy launched in the fall of last year. So I'll be sharing a little more information with that if anyone is interested, but it starts in May. It's a 6-week course. So let's listen out for that. I also I was voted top influencer 3 years running through Mydoma, and I do a lot of different speaking engagements across North America and covering social media for different events in the industry. I run a highly engaged Facebook group. It's a private group, which I invite you all to join. It's called Interior Design Business Strategies. We have over 6,300 design professionals from all over the world. So feel free to submit your request. There's 3 questions you need to answer when you join, or the gatekeeper, Karen, will not let you pass. And if you want to connect with me on Instagram, please, I don't know if this thing works. I tried it earlier. I wasn't sure, but anyway, I'm at Claire Jefford. So I'd love to see you there. We have a free stuff for you guys because I'm all about giving value. So we've got a free welcome packet. If you scan this code, you're going to go to a web page with that information. Services and rates guide, which is definitely pertaining to what we're talking about here today. A business startup checklist and a link to my free Facebook group. So let me know if you want me to keep that screen on afterwards. But yes, please go check out some of these free resources. Take a photo of this and you will get sent to the URL. All right, so every time I start a presentation, these are my next 2 slides that you will see, that I've been doing this for the last couple of years, because I think it's a really good reminder. We need to be reminding ourselves that there's more than one path to the top of the mountain. We're all making our way there differently. We all have different goals. We all have different things that we like about running an interior design business, things that maybe we don't like so much. We all have personal things happening in our lives, right? So whether it's, little ones that you're like taking care of, and you can't take on big projects right now that might last 2 to 3 years, or, maybe you have elderly parents that you're looking after, or yourself, we have to look after our own health. Or maybe you're just starting your journey. Maybe there's others who are thinking, gosh, I'm ready to get off this train and sort of head towards more of a retirement and a quiet life. So we're all in different spots in our journey of life and our journey of starting this business. And just remember that there is no one way to get to your goal and to hit your goals. There's so many different ways. And I've learned that very early on in my journey, when I thought I had to do things a certain way because this is how everyone was doing it in the industry. There's so many different things. We're going to talk about that today. All right. And lastly, you do you. So I'm a little bit crazy. Doesn't make me less of a professional businesswoman. I just like to have fun as well. So just bear that in mind. You do you, and make sure that you're enjoying enjoying what you do. We didn't give up, whether it was a corporate job or whatever we did previously, or being a stay-at-home mom like I was for 4 years. I didn't give that up to go into something that, I didn't really enjoy, and to not be myself and be able to be my creative self and love what I do. So you do you. All right, here we go. So, this is really for the way that you want to run your interior design business, as we're talking about the services that you're going to offer and different rates that you can bill for that. If you are not clear on the details of the interior design services you offer, then you cannot confidently articulate the value that you bring to a project. And until you firmly establish and streamline, the details of the services you provide, it's going to be very difficult for you to know what to charge. Okay, so as a result, it makes it nearly impossible for you to confidently sell your services, because you don't really know what you're talking about. Your clients can't then believe in you and trust you. So we need to work together to get clear on this, so that you can start attracting trusting clients and charge decent fees to ensure that you are profitable. All right, so we're going to start off with this menu of services. I'm actually starting off first with this here. This is a class act that I call this, as looking at different types of levels of design services. And no matter what, I want you always to remember that this is a luxury service. So sometimes we forget it because it's our passion, because it comes easily to a lot of us. It doesn't to everybody else. And this is a luxury service. Not everyone can afford to hire a designer. Even if you're doing a designer for a day and other different services that may be more consulting, it's still a luxury service. It's like if I was going to go to the gym, I do yoga, but if I was going to, go to the gym, there's a difference between me taking a spin class and me working with a personal trainer in the gym, or me going to a personal trainer's studio outside of a gym, or having a personal trainer come here. But either way, other than the class aspect of it, it's still a luxury to have that person come, and it's no different for you. Okay, so just remember that our services aren't something that people, it's not mandatory. It is a luxury, no matter which way you cut it. Okay, so you can look at different classes of which you want to sort of have your specific business model, step into. So for example, you might want to offer the high-end luxury boutique service, and that might be take you a little while to get there. Maybe you don't come out the gate because you want to learn a little more about as you start, get your experience, get your feet on the ground, that sort of thing. But maybe you're sort of aiming towards a high-end luxury boutique service, where I would say someone like the fabulous Corey Damon Jenkins, for example, right? So you're offering a luxury boutique service. We also have specialty design services that you could offer. So this could be a kitchen and bath. Maybe you want to specialize in kitchen and bath. Maybe you want a niche in kids' bedrooms, or in organization and decluttering. Maybe you have a specialty design service, and that's your signature service that you're known for specifically. So don't be afraid to lean into something. If that's, if you don't love all aspects of the interior design industry. Mainstream opulence. This is what I like to say that we offer here. We do typically our projects for a client for like a custom room, which I'm going to go through with you some information on that, but usually around $25,000 to $30,000 for like a bedroom or for a living room. Of course, it depends on the size. If it's bigger, it's going to be more, but and so we're more like, we do custom treatments. I think we do beautiful work, but I am not Corey Damon Jenkins as much as he inspires me, and I have his book and I've met him a few times. I love him. We're just not luxury boutique. We're more like the mainstream, right? But I like the mainstream opulence, it sounds more luxurious. Collaborative connection. So maybe you're looking at working with clients in a way that you want to, have like a designer by your side services, which is like you're working together, like a designer. Some people call it designer on call or designer on demand. And maybe you're working more with the client, and there's things that you both do together, as opposed to, a full custom where you're taking the reins and they're basically doing everything, that all the suggestions, and they're paying you for to take the reins and to manage all of that. Or you might look more at maybe you're more of a DIY. So whether that's you do consulting only and then you hand it over to the clients to, take the reins on that, or whether it's through e-design or online consulting, so these are different classes of services that I want you to consider, and where you want to fall in line right now, where maybe you want to aim and strive to be. So think about that, because that's not really talked about a lot in the industry. The next slide, or sorry, the next one you will see, it's because it's more like different services, but that I find people overlook. So your overall brand, your desired clientele, and project preferences will assist in shaping your services and your rates. So if you're going to be a high-end luxury designer, you're not charging $100 an hour. You're not charging, a flat fee of $4,000 per room. You are into the tens of thousands, when working with a client. So all of these things need to be factored in when you're thinking about the type of service that you want to offer, and then looking at what the rates are for that service. Here's a list of different design services. So I just want to run you through these quickly, but you could do consultations. For us, every single any sort of project that we take on starts with a 2-hour paid consultation. But sometimes those consultations may also be a standalone meeting where clients, I just got off the phone with a lovely lady this morning. She's booking with us at the end of March. And she is looking for fresh eyes. And my website happened to say fresh eyes. And she was like, your website says fresh eyes. And that's what I need for my kitchen and bathroom renovation that we're looking to start. And at this point, I'm thinking, sounds like it's going to be just a consultation. And I'm okay with that. I tell people I'm happy to help you in any way that I can. Sometimes that's in just a 2-hour consult. I'm bringing as much value. I don't hold back in those meetings. Or it's to the big reveal, like we just had this past Tuesday on Valentine's Day for a client, where we did her whole principal bedroom and custom design. So, I just love helping people. I'm a people person, so that's what I love. So, but you might not want to offer consulting only services. So again, you do you. We've got e-design services, which are Mydoma with their rendering program now is a great option for that, and to liaise with clients through their portal. And again, e-design doesn't mean cheap design. This doesn't mean Havenly, which, I haven't looked into too much, but we all know, those are the cheaper sort of services where I don't even know how designers are making money on that sort of stuff, because the fee is so low, right? So don't think e-design means non-luxury, okay? Designer for a day. One of my favorite services, helping clients. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that in a minute, but that's 1 6-hour day, one and done. We're not purchasing anything. We get paid for our time. Designer by your side, which is what we do with 20-hour services. That's a minimum of 20 hours for our services. And we work clients next to them as they need us for, either a renovation project or a decorating project in any sort of capacity. But they're not married to us. The full floor redesign. Okay, so we do a lot of main floor redesigns. We have a client we just presented to their kitchen, dining room, and living room, and we are we're not knocking out. Yeah, we're moving walls slightly, but we're rearranging the whole main floor. So that's a service you can offer, and for that we do concept only, and then the add-on service on top of that is designer for a day, or a designer by your side to help them pick all of their finishes. Because I personally do not love managing renovation projects. I do not love that. I found that out very early on, which is why I'm telling you there's more than one path to the top of the mountain. I've still got lots of great photos in my portfolio of over 20 projects, and some are kitchens and baths that I have done the design for. I've helped clients pick all the finishes, but the GC, either my GC or their GC, someone, they're the ones who are in there on site all the time, and it's just not my bag for that. All right, I love the decor though, and I'm right. So again, figure out what it is that you love and hone in on that, and don't have someone tell you that there's only one way to do X, Y, or Z. Then kitchen and bath design, pretty straightforward. Custom design and decor, so that's like saying like that's full custom. For us, that's full custom decorating of a living room, full design and build. You might want to do full design and build, right, soup to nuts of an entire home. All right, so those those are some different options. So, like, and don't feel, that you must, at first you might, because if you're newer, you might just want to test the waters and see what works. But, the beauty of having our own business is that we get to pivot when we want and decide when it's time to, maybe you don't love this service so much, you've done it for long enough, and now you want to offer a different service, or something's working better. So think about that. We're just going to talk here about why clarity. Do you like that? Why clarity is necessary. So I sort of talked about that in a slide, where we were talking about articulating your services, and that this is really reason number one. You need to articulate when you communicate. And so, this lady on the left here is sort of representative of a designer who maybe is like not really sure on how to talk about their services or how to sell their services or what's included in their services. And then here on the right, I've got these clients who are like, what the heck? Like, we don't know what the heck you're talking about, right? And so this is something that I have found over the years in coaching a lot of designers, that that a lot of times are just not sure of the service or what bucket, I call them buckets, not to clients, just to you guys, but we have very specific services that we have set up on our in our business model. So we know, based on what a client's price point is, what their timelines are, where they currently are in the project. Are they in the project already? Is it like, oh, it's not starting for a year, or you're patient and you don't need to, it's not something you're, starting next week. Like, all of these things, and how much involvement they want to have. All of these things are very good indicators that you need to listen out for in the discovery call, when you're talking to a potential client. And then you can then know, once you have all of your services very clearly defined, which bucket, which service they're going to fall into. Okay, so you need to be really, really clear with clients, because you want to attract trusting clients. And, if your clients don't trust you, if the onboarding process has been a little shaky and you're not really clear on the services that you're offering, and they're sort of confused about what's going on, it's going to be so hard. You're going to be like, climbing up and treading water, like trying to constantly reassure them in some way that you know what you're doing and that they should trust you. We actually have 10 touch points before we meet with a client. This is in the buildup to on the discovery call, which you can absolutely have it more automated through a program like Mydoma. We have ours, we have all our email templates, everything organized. This is something that we share in the Interior Design Boss Academy that we take you through. And all of those touch points, don't overlook them, because it sounds crazy, but instead of just hanging up the phone and being like, okay, we'll see you next Wednesday, right? You hang up the phone and you show up. We have these touch points, and each of these touch points reminds the client that we have a process. We need to get paid up front. Then once we get the payment, we send you the questionnaire. We request, for you to send us photos of your home if you have them. We send a reminder ahead of time, 2 days before the consultation. And so when I show up, we've already had like this back and forth, and I say me, and I have an office manager that does a lot of that, but they're templated anyway. So it really doesn't take that long, to just quickly edit with like a new date or the client's name or their project details, but just don't overlook that, because all of that helps you to attract clients who are going to trust you, because you've said you were going to do something, then you did it, and then you said you were going to do that, and then you did it, right? And then and then also getting payment. We get payment ahead of time, so no pushback when we ask our client for $30,000 for furnishings all in one go, in a check before we can start, putting together your principal bedroom, like the one that we just did on Tuesday, because they know, oh, Claire gets paid ahead of time. Yeah, she likes to have that, retainer payment, or full 100% for furnishing. So you get less pushback when you have trusting clients and you're able to really articulate your services. Okay, and another great way to do that is you want to manage your expectations. I was actually in a book with a fabulous Luann Nigara. It was her second book in my whole chapter. I think it was chapter 6 or 7. Sarah, I think I'm just after or before you. It was a few years now, but it's all about managing expectations. And when you manage expectations, you build the relationship, you're layering in that trust with everything that you do. And so what's an example of managing expectations? Show them examples of work that you do. At the consultation, we have a folder that we bring, and it shows examples of printed presentations that we've done for clients, whether it's of a main floor, like I was telling you about. So they know we do concept only, but here's an example. We do 2 options. Here's what it looks like. Here's how the client benefited, right? Oh, here's an example of a custom room design. Here's the rendering that we did. Here's the mood board that we did to show all the finishes. And here's the finished product. Here's the final room design, right? So they go, oh, right. They can see what it is that you do. And also understanding, the steps that are involved in that you're taking care of a lot of specific details depending on how you're working with them. And regardless, you're still looking at details, even if it's a consultation only. And that's what we do. That's what we bring. That's part of the value of, and why people hire us. All right, this is one that we're going to really dig into in a minute, is the profit planning. Okay, so you're able to plan what your profits are going to be, and you can do that. You can project that for the year. You can have an estimated amount, and that way you can reach towards certain goals that you want to hit, right? So I'm just going to dive right in here because I know it's going by fast. Now I'm disappointed in this because you guys can't hear this apparently. Sarah and I tested it. I've done a webinar before and you can't hear the audio. So make sure you're following me at Claire Jefford. And if you want, please, and there's a few different accounts. It's just the at Claire Jefford, but then message me and say, hey, Claire, saw you on Mydoma. Can you send me the video, share it on double dipping? Okay, because this is one thing we need to all get over.
Hey, Claire.
We need to, yes.
So I'm popping in quick. Why don't you just try hitting play and see if it.
All right.
No, we can only hear snippets. Like,
can't hear it.
Okay, I'll mute myself again. I just thought maybe it would work in live mode. It would fix itself. The optimist in me.
Thank you. But this is a really hard-hitting video, because it basically what I'm doing is I'm playing 2 characters, and I'm playing a person who's talking about having a problem as a designer, feeling that they're double dipping, when they charge for their services and they're charging for, products, making money on top of products. And so my analogy here, I'm talking about mechanics, right? And this is what mechanics do all the time, and do we begrudge our mechanic for, selling us 4 sets of tires, 4 tires? Are you worried that he's marking those up? And, I'm just sharing that, hey, no, I'm just glad that the mechanic is doing what I need him to do, because I don't know how to do what they do. And I just trusting them to take care of me and that I'm going to be able to drive safely. And it's, so I'm going like, hey, your clients think the same way about you. Okay. So, and then at the end, I say double dipping my ass. Okay. So, don't feel like you're doing something wrong. You're being a very smart business owner when you offer your services and you bill for your services, and then you're making money on product that you're selling specifically to the clients. And for us, just so you know, sometimes we will spec retail, but then the client purchases the retail. I do not want to get involved in purchasing retail because A, I don't really make any money off of it, and B, I don't want to have to deal with any of the stuff that comes back, because they're not my true trusted suppliers. Make sense? So when we're working custom with clients, that's when we are marking up, which you can absolutely, we're going to talk about in a minute, which you can do in Mydoma. You can set it all up ahead of time for each supplier, what you want the markup to be, or the retail less a certain amount. So, please just get out of your head that we need to be transparent and we need to share our discounts, which is actually trade pricing. Okay. We need to be smart business owners and be making money so we can, live our life and pay our bills. Okay, so here we're going to get into a little bit of nitty gritty. I want to share with you custom furnishing room designs. So this is a service that we offer for clients. It's one we just installed last week. This week for Valentine's Day, as I mentioned. So with this custom service, our clients are happily married to us. We take care of all the details, and this is how we sell it to them, right? This is how we sell the service to our clients, because this is what the good clients, the trusting clients, this is why they're reaching out to you, right? It includes a 3D floor plan, printed presentation, procurement, ordering, tracking, and delivering of all furnishings. And with this service, we see the project through to the big reveal and there's no shopping by the client. So if we have an indication, like I said to you before, on a discovery call, we say to the client, what type of involvement would you like to have? And they might say, oh, well, I have an account with Direct Buy, which if you're not familiar with means that they can get certain products from different vendors at a very low price because they pay a membership fee for that. So I know instantly, okay, this is not going to be a custom design client because they have their own place where they like to go shopping. Or if I have someone that says like, oh my gosh, I love going online. I love Wayfair. I love Restoration Hardware. I love seeing all the deals, then I'm like, okay, so you're also not a custom design, and that's okay. So we have different services for that. That's what I'm saying. And if you want to offer different services to be able to work with those clients, great. If you decide, no, I don't want those type of clients, you set your business up and you do you, right? But when we have someone on the phone that says, I'm not interested in shopping, I don't have time, we're very busy, and we just need you to take care of everything, then I'm like, okay, this is the custom design client, right? So listen for that at the beginning. It's really, really important. All right, so just want to give you an example here. This isn't my pricing. I just wanted to share with you, an example of. So this could be like, we're $225 an hour. When we do this service, we're 200, we round it at 200. But I just don't want you to be any lower than 100. I like to see people even at 125, 150. And the more confident you are, the more clearly you can articulate your services, the more you have your business foundation, the structure, everything I talk about in the Boss Academy and teach there, the higher your price can be and the more organized you're going to be. All right. So for example, I just want to share here that for 40 hours, if you charge $175 an hour, that's $7,000. Okay. For your services. And then if you add $10,000 of profit on top of the furnishings for that one room design, and again, I'm keeping this simple with some of the math, then we're looking at $17,000 per one room project. We also, so we say here, what if you want to project that you want to do 6 of these per year, let's say, because you want to be over $100,000 with your services. All right. So you work that out to what, gosh, I hope the math is right on that. Now I'm looking at that. It should be. So yes. So then you want to add a fee of $500 per consult. And that's an extra $3,000. So this here, if you have 6 room projects per year, and this is the money that you're charging and that you're making off of the furnishings, you're looking at about $105,000 from those projects. Okay. Now, this is where it gets interesting, and I could do a whole thing on just this alone. Okay. So I know there's probably going to be a lot of questions. But I want you to just listen to this here. And just know I could go into way more detail on this, but we don't have enough time. Okay. So we hear a lot about profit margin, markup, all of this stuff. And so what does that mean to you and your bottom line? Okay. So if you see here on the left, let's just say the cost to you for furnishings for that one room design, for example, that we just talked about. Let's say you're being charged $15,000 by your different vendors. And if you do a 65% markup, now these markups may vary. I will be perfectly honest. We don't do that 65% markup because I work with my decorating center, who's local here, and I don't get the same pricing that they get. Or if I went directly to the supplier or the vendor, but they do so much of the work for me and they follow up on all the invoices, and their resource center is fabulous. So, again, this is going to vary depending on how you have structured your business, where you get your product from. But this is just a really good example. Okay. So with a 65% markup, you sell to your client for $24,750. All right. So as you can see here, that's the mark that's there. This is the profit of $9,750, which gives you a gross margin of 40% on the product only. And if you're interested in this, that's just take a picture of that. That is the URL that you can plug in your cost of your item. You can figure out your markup. Again, Mydoma does have this in their system for each different vendor, and you can work it out that way. I'm just showing you sort of like if you wanted to put in a big number rather than each separate piece of furnishings, right? So that's like on the product as an example. That's one example of a bajillion I could share. Okay, so for the overall project, which is over here, your cost of goods, again, is the $15,000 with approximately $10,000 profit that we establish on products and services of $7,000. Okay, so your client's total cost is 32,000. That's the revenue you're collecting from your client. Okay. And that's an overall margin of 53%. And the margin of the profit is 17,000. You really want to come in between 40 and 60% on a project, overall on a project. Okay. And then your markup on products themselves, like ours vary, right? Like it depends on what we get from the vendor or from the decorating center, because but you guys, like every single vendor charges a little bit different of a different deal. And then if you're wholesale, you're going to get even more opportunity to buffer in more of a markup on that. Okay, but these are just some numbers I just wanted to share with you, just as to keep in mind. And this one here, this is omnicalculator.com. So /finance/margin. Okay. You have a little more flexibility with this one, where this one you can only put in the cost of the items, putting your percentage from markup, hit this button and it'll calculate that for you. All right. I'm sure there's lots of questions on that, but like I said, I could do the whole webinar on just that. If you are curious and learning more about this, because you can see, if you don't know me by now, that I love to share and I love to give information that most people aren't really sharing. So this is my behind the curtain series. So you can scan that there. I've already got one going where I said about what we charge for a bathroom design and a kitchen design. So it's an exclusive backstage pass to rarely seen design business details that no one shows you. And if you are in my Interior Design Boss Academy, which maybe I have some members in here right now on the call, but we have this after dark, and the after dark sessions is going to be an extension of the behind the curtain, but it's only available to my boss people. And we're going to be looking at product cost and profit margins. And the reason I'm going in the after dark for that is because it's more sensitive information. I'm going to be sharing real projects with you and having other designers on sharing real projects. So that is very sensitive information, which is why you don't hear about it very often and no one really talks about it. So scan that code, you'll get on the list, and then you can see I have one so far, so you can go and watch that one over the weekend if you want, with a glass of wine or your drink of preference. Okay, so now I want to marry this with Designer for a Day so I can show you how this works overall in terms of, the profit that you can make. All right. So Designer for a Day. So this is how we explain it. We assist clients with parts of the project that they may find overwhelming and help them to avoid making costly mistakes. Services in our 6-hour time blocks may include, but are not limited to. All right. So you can set this up any way you want. And I'm going to I'll show you afterwards where you can see my step-by-step process. You can see a video and a blog where I share a lot more information about Designer for a Day. But the idea here is one and done. You're getting paid for your time. You're not emailing afterwards. You're not caught up in, a follow-up and texts and all that stuff. It's 6 hours and you're getting paid for your time. You're not purchasing products. And it's very much a one and done service, which could be a real nice little filler in between other projects, bigger projects. So here's some ideas. You can do space planning ideas for clients in that time. You can do guidance for kitchen and bath design, which is pretty much what ours is usually set up at. Again, go watch the blog, go see the blog with a video. It'll explain to you exactly how we work our service on that. You'll see it on the next slide for that. Sourcing of various finishes and furnishings, specifications for paint color. And sorry, that would be like if you're retail shopping with them for the day. Okay. Specifications for paint colors and styling. Maybe you have clients who reach out to you when they finish their renovation themselves, and now they have this vacant bookcase that they don't built in that they don't know how to style. So maybe you're going to go in and you're going to do a day of styling for them. Or maybe in-person meeting and liaisons with clients or trades about their projects. So you can be there to sort of guide them for that one day. Again, you can set this up any way that you want. And so I want to show you a snapshot here. I'm not going to go through all of these here because you guys can take a picture of this. You can have a look at it. But the point is that if you really lean into Designer for a Day, you could make this $37,000 a year by having 2 Designer for a Day per month. If this is how you set up your fee structure, okay, maybe you're a little more, we're a little more, maybe you're a little less. Okay, but just giving you an idea. And you could double that to 74,000 or even triple. And I'm not just saying this because it's like, yeah, right. Like how would you do 6 a month? I'm telling you now, if this was your business model, let's just say this is all you want. I'm going to pair it with a custom to show you, but if this is all you wanted to do, if you're like, listen, I'm done, the clients are driving me crazy, all this stuff with every time I order furniture comes in, it's damaged, right? You with me? Like all the, like, there's always stuff that happens, right? The idea of this is like, you're literally helping them for 6 hours and then you're done. You're on to your next one. You can put this on Instagram stories. You can share how you helped clients in blog posts. It could be your niche. This could be your thing. And you could be like, wow, I'm making 6 figures with like just daily, doing 5 of these a month, 6 of these a month. You do have to keep turning the funnel over. That's the thing. Like, it's a funnel. Like, you need to be consistently, getting clients, right? But I just want to share, this is what one of the ladies who I met in Florida last year at one of the design events. I never met her before. Then she joined my Facebook group. She saw my Widwill, which is a what I did and what I learned video that I usually do now once a month. And she was like, wow, I didn't even know this was a service I could offer. Thank you so much. I did my first one. I have 4 more lined up before the end of October. The same lady actually just posted about a month ago in the group to say, oh my gosh, the service is flying off the shelf. And I don't know if she said she had 6 booked for the month coming up. And I was like, this is awesome. And so we were saying like, how are you getting these clients? And she said a lot of it is word of mouth. So she'll help, one set of clients, and that client will tell another set of clients who's building a house or starting a reno. So maybe people who aren't looking to totally invest, long-term be married to a designer, but they know that they need some help. This is a total business model that you could set your whole business up on. I know it. All right. So if you want to visit the blog at clairejefford.com, you can see Designer for a Day. I share my whole step-by-step process in that blog. I don't think there's a video of that though, actually. I think I did the video on the Widwill, but then I did the blog step-by-step there. So have a look at that. So now we're going to look at taking these 2 together so we can look at what sort of profit that you could be making. All right. So custom design and project management services for, like I said, the 6 clients and the 1-room design projects that I shared at $105,000. And that's also charging your consultation fee of $500. Okay. So that's included. Then you add on designer for a day services. You have 2 clients a month that are designer for a day only. This also includes your consultation fee of $37,000. So a total of 36 working hours per month, which, let's face it, most people are working 40 hours a week. I know we're not, okay, I know we're still working. Okay, guys, I'm not saying we're not working. We work more as entrepreneurs, but what I'm saying is the actual hours that you're working, that you're billing for, you're able to earn, say, this amount of $142,200 per year as a general idea of what you could earn. All right. So in all of the other hours, you are marketing your business. You're doing your Instagram, you're doing a blog post, if this is the sort of way that you want to do it. Maybe you have different revenue streams. Maybe there's other things happening that that is nice with this flexibility, because maybe you have to leave every day at 3 o'clock to go pick up your kids, right? Maybe you don't start work till 9 by the time you drop them off. Okay, so so think about that as we put them together there, and we can see that this is possible. All right. Now, I will say, and I can appreciate that not every single room project is going to be the same. I mean, and we have a client, say, for example, that we finished up last year where we did a whole house. So there were some custom rooms and there was some more designer by your side in that, right? We did offer a flat fee, but and now we've got another condo that we're going to be installing in April, May. It's not just one room. So maybe you get a project and it's a whole house and then you don't need 6 clients. All right. So just think about it that way. I just want to show you it in bite-sized pieces so you can understand, you can see what's possible. Okay. And so with that, the cost, and I blew this up, so sorry, it looks a little bit blurry. So your cost in total for what I just showed you on the previous slide is $90,000, because that's 6 projects where you purchase $15,000 in your costs of furnishings. Okay. Your total revenue for what you build the client is $232,200. And then obviously you have to deduct that $90,000 that you have to pay out to your vendors. Okay. And so your profit is there's that 142.2, and that sits you in a really nice profit margin for the year at 61%. All right. So when you do service only services, that's when your margin can go up to a certain extent, because you're not now having to pay for cost of goods, depending on what your rate is, right? So this is why we remember we're a luxury service. We're not doing a designer for a day for $500. That's not what we're doing. That's not what I'm encouraging at all. In fact, I say, take your hourly rate, which should be hopefully, over 125, 150. You saw my numbers are at 175. And you multiply that by 6. All right. If 6 hours is too much for you, your design for a day is 5 hours. You do you figure it out, and over time you will figure out sort of what you like about it and how I've tweaked it over time doing this service. Okay. And that leads me really nicely into my next slide, which is to review regularly and pivot as needed. It's really important as a business owner that you are looking at, whether that's quarterly. Monthly is probably too much. I mean, we don't, have time necessarily go over monthly, but quarterly, biannually, or annually doesn't seem like enough. You need to be more regular of looking at it. Where's my revenue coming from? How much money am I making here? What services is making me the most money? What am I loving the most? Oh, I think I'm jumping ahead of myself. I am. Okay. So what I want you to consider are your goals and your happiness. That's number one. Okay. I know a lot of, courses out there and people spitting out about 6-figure course or 6-figure, business, 7-figure business. That's awesome. Like, that is awesome. There's no, arguing that. But I want you to be happy. Number one, that's number one, because if you're running a business or your business is running you, and sure, you're selling $3 million worth of product a year, but you have no personal life and you're really letting your business run you, and you're texting back to clients or emails at weekends, all hours. Is that happiness? Like, that's not happiness for me, but again, your definition of happiness might be different. So what are your goals and what makes you happy? Okay. Joy, happiness, contentment, that has to be number one. What are your best revenue streams? Okay, so have a look and see what is generating me the most money. Is it the furniture sales? Yeah, I mean, your furniture sales are going to give you, if you're charging the right margins on them, they're going to give you great profits. But if they don't make you happy and they stress you out, then maybe you're like, hey, I'm actually making really good money when I design a kitchen. I love designing kitchens and selling cabinetry. Giddy up, right? Scaling your business. So do you want to grow your business? Do you want to have like 5, 10, 15, 20 employees? Do you want a brick and mortar? Is that something that you're looking to do? For me here, I have a little studio in my backyard. I have 2 girls that work for me, my office manager and my lead designer. I also have support from my Nicole Heimer, many of you probably know, is my web designer. I have a strategist that I work with. Those are more like in the US. Online, but I have a nice little team. I'm not looking for a storefront personally. I'm not looking for a team of 10. I like a little more flexibility, right? So again, you do you. The current climate, we all know about this with COVID, right? I mean, that really changed things, really shook things up. So what's happening in the current climate? I know that a lot of designers listening in my, hearing stories in my interior design business strategies Facebook group, they're sort of like, they feel like after COVID, they're just done with selling furniture and waiting and relying on a lot of other vendors or people in their business. And they want to just go more towards consultation only services because, it was a really, it's not perfect now, but it's a lot better, right? So what is the current climate? I mean, now we're all talking about going into this recession and interest rates rising. So have a look. You need to consider all of that. And then don't be afraid to explore different opportunities. When I started this business, do you think I ever thought I would be sat here teaching designers and coaching designers and speaking on stages? No, I never thought I would be doing that, and so there's so many different opportunities working with brands, getting sponsorship from brands, being brand ambassador of lovely businesses and people like Sarah at Mydoma. There's so many opportunities now online. You could do affiliates. I say, wait, you got to build your audience, but there's so many opportunities online and to sell online products. And maybe you're done with bathroom design, but you have a great format for how to design a bathroom, and maybe that can be something that you lean into and you sell an ebook on how to design a bathroom, everything you need to know, A to Z of bathroom design sort of thing. The opportunities are endless. So be sure that you're, looking out for that and not closing the door on anything specific there. If you're interested in any contract templates, seeing everything that I offer on my website, you can go to interiordesignDocuments.com and you can see what I have there for you. Everything usually has a bit of a video to explain it, a list of what is included. But my goal, just like with my clients, I say to them, I want to help you in any way that I can to push your business forward. All right. And the Interior Design Boss Academy. I'm just plugging that one more time here. We start that on May 8th. And it's basically everything you need to set up your interior design business right. People have access to me. That's one of the things people have said the most about how accessible I am. We do 90-minute weekly live calls during the 6 weeks. And it's just a nice sort of tight-knit group too. So my group of 6,000 designers of a free Facebook group is lovely, but it's a little intimidating and you can't really get your question answered and we can't dive deep. But here in the Interior Design Boss Academy, we dive deep. So that, my God, I can't believe I got through it all, Sarah, with 10 minutes to spare. That is a bit of an insight, hopefully that you found helpful for profit planning in your interior design business.
Thanks, Claire. That was super good. And you did do it with 10 minutes to spare. So impressive. You did it.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So that QR code, where did that one go to out of curiosity?
This
your
one,
Instagram.
It goes to Instagram. I'm not sure if it works. I grabbed it from Instagram, but I'm not sure that actually does work.
There was a couple. Can you just flip back a couple slides and show off those other QR codes quickly?
Oh, yes.
A few people are asking that just before I forget.
Okay. Yeah, that's behind the curtain. So this is my new series. And yeah, basically with this, I'm disclosing design fees and deliverables because it's the most question we get asked. And Sarah, you probably know in your group too. I mean, what should we charge for this? And what do you include for that? And there is it's not black and white. Like there's so many different ways you can do it and so many different, deliverables that you can give and pricing that you can do. So that's my goal with behind the curtain.
Okay. And I think you had another QR code at the beginning.
I did.
So I know that was asked a couple times. So this way, anybody who missed those QR codes, you should be scanning them.
Yeah, that takes you to a page with 4 different signups, and you can pick what you can do all 4. You're welcome to do all 4.
Here we go. Okay. So Claire, do you want to continue sharing or do you want to stop sharing?
I can stop sharing.
Oh, hey, the team messaged me while you were presenting and we can play your video. There's an option. Do you want to try it? Or do I do it after Q&A?
Maybe we'll end on it because it's quite.
Okay, let's do it. Well,
yeah.
Then if it doesn't work, then
okay.
We've done the other side. Okay, let's hop into some questions. Okay, so Ann Santos is asking, as I'm looking at the offers we're putting together in my business, I have the designer for a day and also a package of 10 hours, which is going to turn into a minimum of 20 hours. How do you price these differently so they are different offers?
Yeah, so good question. Hi, Ann. So designer for a day, just to explain again, like it's 6 hours and we just take your hourly rate. Like it's the easiest way to do it. Whatever your hourly rate is, if it's 150, 200, whatever it is, and you times it by 6. If you're comfortable, we found 6 hours for me is the sweet spot. I like 6 hours. Some people say, oh, I could do 7. And some people are like, oh my gosh, 6 is way too long. I can only do 5 or 4. So, you figure out what that looks like for you. So we just take our hourly rate and times it by 6. Same with the designer by your side. We purposely start that at 20 because then every single service that we offer is a different level of service, which comes with a different price tag. So the 20 hours times our 225, Sarah, I don't know the math, I don't know, it's like 4,000 something, is different to our 1,350 for designer for a day, $8,000 for custom design and project management. So when you have the different, again, this is like going back to articulating your services, having those different price points attached to them, it makes it easier for you and your potential client to figure out where they should, invest in your services.
Thank you. Okay, someone's saying the last code didn't work with the 4 topics.
With the which topic?
I said the last code didn't work, the one with 4 topics. If possible. to
Oh, no,
show
that should work. I tested that. I can share my screen again. I'm pretty sure that works. That should absolutely work. So you're just taking a picture of it with your phone, right? You just take your phone. Yeah, I get straight away the web code comes up. And if you can't find anything, you can always message me, guys, on the Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, just message me, Claire, I didn't get your free packet. I want your free stuff. And I'll happily send you. Give it a minute, though. I'm finding that it's taking sort of a while. I don't know if that's my internet or not, but just give it a minute to sort of go through.
I did hear that someone said it was loading a bit slow. Those things off.
Yeah, it is loading slow, and I'm not sure why. Technology.
I know.
Did I not share my
Okay.
screen? Oh, sorry. I thought I was sharing my screen. Sorry.
There we go. While you're doing that, can you share, when you talked about those touch points that you have with clients, we have a question about that. What do you mean by the 10 touch points? Give a little bit of information about that. That was earlier in
Yes.
your presentation. Yeah.
Yep. No. Okay. So the 10 touch points is basically from the initial phone, from the very first phone call, all the way to the end, till I get to the consultation. So when you look at it, it's like, we have the client reaches out to you via email, for example. Then they get an automatic response if they come to us to our contact page that says, we're going to get back in touch with you for 48 hours. Thanks for reaching out. That's automated. So that's 2. Then they get an email from Karen within the 48 hours that we promised back in the office. And she sends out an email like, hey, so it's a template. Again, it's all templated. To let them know, hey, we received your email. Claire's really looking forward to, hopping on a call with you. Here's some information about our services. We say what my consultation fee is, and we have people, we let them know when the timeline is, because I'm a little higher. And I want people to know, I don't want to waste time on a call with someone if they're wanting to be, if they're looking for lower to not to invest in our service, our price, and if they need someone like next week, right? And then, then they email us back going, yes, that's great. I would love to book a call with Claire. And actually in that one, we say, if this is agreeable to you, then link to Calendly. Then they link to our Calendly and they can book an appointment. Then they get an email to say, so it's just sort of like that sort of like, okay, now you're confirmed in our calendar. And then once they confirm, right. And then after we speak, Karen sends out the email. Oh, Claire said it was so great to speak with you. As a follow-up, here's what we understand you're looking at doing this project. If you want to move forward, we require payment, which you could all get through Mydoma as well, right? So we have it a little, it's just a sort of what we've been doing over the years, and it's worked for us. And because we have it into a specific process now with all the templates, it's actually quite quick. So by the time we show up, all of those back and forth, which is just very minute, but just lets the client know, we're building that trust. And I'm just saying, don't overlook that, because trust is everything.
Thank you.
Makes sense? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so next question is, what do you do? Oh, sorry, I misread it. Let me start that again. What do you do if a client hasn't used the retainer, like the full amount, if we're talking on a designer for a day or the 20-hour block? Have you ever run into that where it hasn't been used up?
Yeah, well, with a designer for a day, no, because it's 6 hours. You need to be very clear on what you're delivering in that 6-hour time, and then use it up within, it's only 1 day. So the other one, we say we want it used up within 3 months if we're working with a designer by your side service. We've had clients, just trying to think if we had a client. I mean, we had clients that kept rolling over for 2 years during COVID. And then we ended up just giving them back their retainer just before Christmas, because they were sort of coming to an end with the services that they were needing. But other than that, not really a problem with using it up. And I think that's where, again, you're going to have to be really clear in the consultation. What is it that the client's looking for? How do they need your help? And you list it out and decide, is this a designer for a day that I could do this in? Or, I mean, here's the motto we say at Claire Jefford, because everything takes longer than you think. Like, and we don't say that to our clients. Okay, it's not what we say to our clients, but I'm saying, right, Sarah? No, but I'm just saying, like, we start something and we sit down and we go, oh, okay, this will take like an hour, whether it's something to do online or whatever, back end of something. And 3 hours later, we're like, how are we not done this? So don't underestimate how long it's going to take to even just source things or put together a plan or Even just to present it to your client and have your client, anyway, that's what I would say on that. It's, you got to be really clear, because you don't really want to be giving money back. The whole idea of having that 20 hours up front is that now you're banking that, you get that all of it up front. That's what we do. You could get 50%, that's another conversation, but I always want people getting the full payment before they're due to the end. So you're not chasing your clients ever for money. Yeah, the idea is that, now that you can plan for your profit. You can say, right, I'm going to be making that $4,000 from this client for this month or for the next 2 months, however long it's going for. That's the whole point.
You'll never have a problem going through those hours.
I'm like, it's so hard not to, I mean, to me, I used to start off designer for by your side. We used to be 5 hours before I had designer for a day. 5 hours, you can't even turn around and find, 10 hours I was finding it's still not enough. So 20 was my sweet spot. 20 was my sweet spot to start at. I felt like I could get some good momentum going. I could help the client without feeling like it was 5 minutes later and they're like, you want more money?
Well, that's it, right? It's that you don't want to feel like they're not getting enough value before you're asking again for more.
Yeah.
And they'll always find stuff. If you magically get it done early, they're like, can I show you this powder room? Can I show you this? You're like, yeah, because I've got 3 more hours. So sure, you can show them to me. Right. Like, I mean, or you just find projects in their home. In the event, you'll find
there's always something.
There's always something.
There's always something. So if someone's saying they can't connect to my website, I'm like, are you guys locked down my website?
They broke it with all the traffic. Okay, so Marianne is asking, have clients ever asked for your profit margin? And if they did, would you tell them?
No, I think we worry way more about that than clients do. Like I said, I never even dream of asking my mechanic or my hairdresser, what are you charging? What's your upcharge on my straightener that you just sold me? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's honestly it's crazy. We just say to clients, my website's not working. I don't know what's going on. Please come back later. I have to talk to Nicole. I don't know. If I have a potential client on the phone and the focus is on cost, the whole thing is like, well, how much do you think that's going to cost? And do I get your trade discount? And I have to just stop them in their tracks and say, listen, clients work with us because of the value we bring, the money we save them in the long run, the look they're going to get, the final result. If it's, I appreciate that money is a thing, right? And I'm never shy about talking about the money, but if you're really all interested in discounting and what the cost is going to be, and it's so focused and you're not looking at this as an investment, we probably aren't a good fit. And I really just hope everyone can start stressing that in their business. Like we're not here. Someone just posted in my group and I didn't read the whole thing, but they're basically saying something about someone wants to buy like one sofa from them, and so they went and they sourced a sofa and then they didn't buy them, and then now how do they charge for that? I'm like, no one's contacting you to buy one sofa. Like you're offering so much more than that. Don't feel like you're just selling a side table to someone.
Yeah, we had somebody just messaging here. Jessica Boudreau said that she had a client ask her for her receipt. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep it going. Virginia asks, if you're doing retail shopping, do you add a 20% service fee to total purchases? Like if you're doing designer by your side, do you ever do that? Or do you just pay for your time?
I don't, I just bill for my time. I find honestly the retail side is so what you can make is so small. The hassle, because you're not maybe familiar with working with familiar stores all the time and your client wants you to go somewhere. If it's retail, I would just say charge more for your hourly rate and just let the client buy it. Because then sometimes they only want you to buy it, the company. So yeah, you got to put it on your credit card because you're the designer and you're the one getting the trade discount. And so now if something goes wrong, they're coming back to you. Like to me, it just gets complicated. And I will shop with a client if they want. We haven't had them for a while, but I'll shop retail, but I'm just billing it for my time. I'm not even trying to make, think about it. Like some of the, depending on what you're buying too, like if a table is, $800 and you're going to make 20% and you got all this hassle on it for $150, just up your hourly rate, right? Even just for those services, maybe specifically.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Sorry, I did notice someone asked me about my color boards. These are from Maria Killam, mariakillam.com. If you want color boards, anything to know about color, she's a good friend of mine. That's right,
She's
Rainey. That's
incredibly
right.
talented. Okay, Michelle's asking, how do you handle the client who wants to sit test her sofa, but still wants the rest of the room trade items and wants full service?
We just talked about this yesterday on my Boss Academy call. First of all, you can't always sit in a sofa. Like, it's not always going to be possible. But this is why going to High Point is super important. So I know Mydoma is going to High Point in the spring. I'll be there in the fall. I usually go once a year. Being able, and that's why also being selective with your suppliers, right? Not having like 80 sofa suppliers, but find your favorite 4 or 5 and then be true to them and know their quality and know your reps. I think it's just not possible always to sit in a sofa. Even at my design center, like they might have like 3 styles of sofas from Van Gogh, but they don't have all 22 models in their showroom, right? And neither will a retailer, to be honest. So that's why there's a saying called "you sell what you floor." I heard that a few years ago, which means if it's on your floor, you will sell it more because it's there. And the other thing is too, is that if they're going to buy something online, they can't test that out. So it's just knowing that you're confident with the product that you're selling the client if they can't test drive it. And the other thing is, I think sometimes it's more in our head that they need to do that because maybe you feel that's how you would feel you want to do it. But again, the more confident you are, the more you are getting those better clients, the less likely they are going to be to push back on all of these things. Even some of my clients are like, I don't have time to go to a showroom and sit in four different sofas, Claire. Like, you just tell me which one's the best. I want something that's a little firm. We need something that's going to have, like, our one client right now we're working with, they said we need a bit of a headrest. My husband has a big back, a long back,
A long back.
So
He's tall.
yes, she said he has a long back though. Yeah, he has a
Oh.
long back, shorter legs and a long back. So I'm like, okay. So we're on the hunt. We're on the hunt for that.
The long back husband. The things you hear, right, as a designer. What other industry hears
You
these
tell
kind of
more
things?
stories, right? We have so many stories.
Okay, so Michelle's asking a question following up on that. What happens if you order a custom sofa, in your opinion, and the client doesn't like it? How do you handle this? She doesn't want to be stuck with a $6,000 order.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be on a case-by-case basis. I mean, we've never had a client not like a sofa or a chair, to be honest. Here's the thing. I mean, that's sort of a high ticket item because now they've signed off on that and you've paid for it. I mean, that's not really something you can easily return. I would always talk to the client, like, what's the problem with the sofa? What is it specifically that you don't like? Like, ask them details, go and see them if you need to, right? If it's other sort of smaller items, like if there was a table that someone say they got in and they didn't like it we had one that actually had off gassing on it. This is early in my career. I bought them this console table and the off gassing, of it was terrible. It continued to smell. So it's the chemicals that they put in the wood. It's from somewhere like, say, Indonesia, and they bring it over. And then all of these chemicals are like being released slowly, the off gassing from it. And so we ended up eventually replacing her table. Like, I found her a new one at no cost to her because it's not her fault that this is happening. And it's not my fault. I mean, it's new, but we just found something quite comparable working with my design center, and they found something comparable and we ended up doing that. But I think sometimes whatever makes you sleep at night, like, if I can just elaborate on this for a second, Sarah, is like, sometimes people say like, oh, I had a client and they were a nightmare at the consultation. They were expecting X, Y, and Z that I would like start designing then and there. Well, first of all, you need to set their expectations from the front. What does a consultation look like? What can you actually get done in a consultation? But if you have someone who like reaches out and, is going to make you not sleep at night for $500 consultation, and you're like, because we hear it in the group, and I love that the designers all want to support each other and they're like, don't give the money back, but I'm sort of like, if it's going to help you sleep at night and now you can just improve your process, and next time you can explain what is going to be accomplished at the consultation, then I'm like, just refund, so I think you have to look at certain things on a case-by-case basis. But you can't be out of pocket for a $6,000 sofa just because your client, why don't they like the sofa? That would be my first thing, is having a conversation about what is it that they don't like, and then us just being human and listening to what they have to say. And if it's true, whatever they're saying, if it's true, for example, then You have, it's a case by case basis, but just be humane about it and, sensitive and show that you care. I mean, but sometimes you just stand strong too and be like, that's crazy. You don't like the color? Well, you signed off on the color. I know the color looks great. So if you don't like the color, I'm sorry. It all works with your stuff. And that's why you hired me. Right.
Yeah.
But again, I can't stress how much that when you start charging more and when you're all organized and you have these sort of levels of touch points, the clients are just so much better. So much better.
Yes,
and I know it takes a while to get there. I've been in the business 12 years. I didn't start off with these clients.
Okay, so another question just regarding those 20-hour time blocks. What do you do after that? They want to know, like, do you get, if they've used up the first 20, would you give them another retainer of 20 hours? Would you just keep track and bill at the end of each month? Or do you suggest keep going in the 20-hour block? Or in your experience, do you think it's better?
Oh, okay. So the 20, yeah. Okay. So 20 hours first. Yes, that's a minimum for us. And then if we are nearing the end of that 20 hours and we know that there's still a lot of work to do, we will have a conversation with the clients and say, listen, we've got 3 hours left now in your initial designer by your side, 20 hours that we had. If you want to go forward and have us help you with, now your window treatments and some of the other things that you discussed at the last meeting, you need to then ascertain. For us, we'll do a 10-hour if we think, it doesn't necessarily have to be another 20. But you just need to be really clear with the clients on what it is that you think you can accomplish in that time. And we're also very clear to tell clients the more efficient you are and the more trusting you are at making decisions and listening to and taking our guidance, the more we can get through. If you want to see 18 lamps, and I've shown you 3 that I know are fabulous for your space, but you are determined and you think there's a better one out there and you want me to go source that, well, then it's going to take more time and we're probably not going to get through what I thought we might get through. So again, it's just really about having those conversations right up front with the clients. And then we had 2 clients over COVID, Sarah, that worked with us for the whole 2 years. And we just kept their retainer the whole time. And then we started billing and we were billing hourly every 2 weeks. But we had their money. We had this until those clients that I told you, we finally gave it back to them, and the one we're doing now is her main floor. So she knows now she's on an hourly billing because she likes to be involved in the project too. She likes to look at stuff, and I'm fine. She's lovely. She's lovely.
Okay. So Marianne's just expanding on that a bit. She says, I meant if they bought 20 hours and then want to use that time up in a 15-minute or 30-minute block, do you have a minimum that you work with?
Yes. Good question. Yes.
Very good. But also,
yes.
oh my.
So this isn't like, we're not getting 152 text messages from clients over. Yeah, no. So we like to say to clients that, we do bill in 15 minutes. Like if we're doing emails and if we're doing administrative work sort of thing like that. But other than that, when we're meeting with a client or we're doing something for a client, like a site visit or we're sourcing something, we like to plan 2 hours minimum. Like I'm not coming to your house for 15 minutes and then leaving and then coming back a week later for 15 minutes. Like we are, again, it's all about being efficient with your time. Right. And that's not efficient of anybody's time, 50 minutes here and there. But minimum of 15 minutes, but having the conversation that, when we're doing things together or if we're sourcing, just, we're going out for 2 hours at a time and we're focusing on your project and we're making sure we're getting everything that we need to bring it together beautifully and help you with these really tough pain points.
As always, Claire, you're such a fountain of knowledge. So great. So Claire, you said your website was having some issues, but I've got a handful of last questions coming in that are all about like pricing, very specific situations that are big, like around new builds, around whole homes. And I know you've covered this like at length. Is there a resource you can point them to or to continue this conversation or a template or something you have? Because they're asking about builders, they're asking about, good pricing design concepts. Like it's another hour worth of conversation at this point.
We'll book another event, shall we? Like I work with builders, we do my floor. I was gonna say, like you could go like the services and rates guide that I have, that I can just share again here quickly because now my website doesn't seem to be busted.
If you could do that, that'd be great.
Okay, can you see that there?
Yeah, everybody can grab that, especially the one that's specifically asking the questions that Claire was talking about regarding the services and rates.
So And like I said, like it's really sticky. And this is why, like, you know, you guys, I offer one-on-one coaching. If there's certain things that you need to get through, like there's no one size fits all. And sometimes when you ask in the group about like, hey, I have this 2,300 square foot home and, you know, I need to know what to price it. Okay, well, hang on a second. Like, what are you doing? Are you the GC? Have you hired a GC? Or are you picking the finishes and purchasing product? Like there's like a million questions. It's like a client saying, what should I do with this room? Just tell me if I should put a sofa in this room. And you're like, okay, that's, you know, there's a lot of information I can share with you here about how to decorate one room. So just, you know, think about that sometimes. Yeah, it's sort of a loaded question. It's sort of and a case by case. I would say my best advice on something like that is break it down room per room, rather than looking at a whole house, right? Or, you know, 5 rooms. Look at each room. What does the client need in each room, and list it out. And this is how we do our proposals that I share in the Boss Academy. But, you know, we have the whole proposal and we break it out, and then we can work out, okay, that chunk for that room is going to be like $5,000. But this room here, where it's only going to be $1,500 because they just need me to pick hardware and 2 shower curtains for a refresh bath. Like, you know what I mean? Just try to break it out so you're not looking at the whole picture, and then put it together for the full picture.
I lost you for a second. I got lost in the Zoom windows.
Okay.
Listening, I'm like, I lost her. Where'd you go?
I'm here.
I'm here. Thank you so much, Claire. This has been so great. I'm just going to pop a link over in the chat as well. If anybody's interested in learning more about Mydoma Studio, what we do, I encourage you to pop over to our website, and you can sign up directly for a trial, take a look at some of the features. We just recently released 2 brand new features, one being task management. So if you're somebody who likes to use software such as ClickUp or Trello or Asana, you can now do that all directly within Mydoma Studio. You can create task lists and assign them with due dates to team members, and really keep focused on your day. When you log into Mydoma, you can see what you should be working on for the day. Pretty incredible. So encourage you to take a peek at that as well. Just released is something called presentation mode, which we will be showcasing as a webinar next week, end of the month. So you're going to get to see a brand new feature where you can very quickly press a button and present a design concept to your client. So I encourage you to sign up for a trial, take a peek if you're not, and if you are already using it, go take a look in your studio for those new features. Claire,
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Sorry, about your new task management. So
Yes.
will you, is there like a demo on that we can see somewhere, so we can see how to use it in like a tutorial?
We did a full webinar on it. So let me see if I can find
And can we get like the replay?
Yes, you can. I'm just gonna see if anybody on the team on the call can send over that webinar. Because by the time I dig through YouTube and try to find it, it'd be more awkward than just asking. Like watch me scroll through.
Maybe when you send out the follow-up email, you can send out
thanks, Claire.
Yeah, a link to that.
Yeah. We still have about 100 people on the call. Do you want to try playing that video for anybody who has an extra few minutes?
Yeah, if someone, yeah.
So I'm and I have a link for you all who are interested in learning more about the task management. So I'm going to put that in the chat for everybody. Okay, that's going to be a link to the recordings if you want to come and see a really great webinar that Dixie and I did. You can take a peek at that. So when you, Claire, when you go to share screen, there's going to be a little option at the bottom that says like play a video or share my video sound.
Oh, it says share sound.
Yeah, my team found that. Their messages.
Brilliant. Okay. All right. Here we go. So let's see. Hopefully you can hear this. Oh my God, this will be a game changing.
With something, can you please help? Of course. Feeling bad about charging for my services and marking up on product. Isn't this called double dipping? You go to your mechanic because your car needs fixing. Do they charge you for labor? Yeah. And if they need to replace your carburetor, for example, do they sell you the carburetor at their cost? Well, I never really thought about it. I mean, I just trust them to do what they do so I can drive safely in my car. Right, so as a smart business owner, your mechanic will be billing you for the hours that they take to do the labor, as well as charging you for the parts that they use to service your car to make sure you're safe. Yeah, that's right. Do you think they feel bad about charging you for services and marking up the products that they sell? No. As a customer, do you ever begrudge your mechanic because you think that they're double dipping? Of course not. That's absurd. I mean, I know nothing about cars. I'm just relieved that I have someone that I can take my car to that I trust. And your client feels the same way about your interior design services. Never underestimate the value that you bring to your clients. Thank you so much for this clarity. Anytime. Double dipping my ass.
I snorted because it's funny.
Oh, shoot. Just think it's a
Oh,
good
it's
reminder,
good.
you know,
It's
because we
good. You're
do
too
it.
funny.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, there's more of that on my Instagram, you guys. So go check out the craziness over there.
Super enjoyable. I love it. So with that, just last thank you to everybody who took time out of your busy days to join us. I hope that this brought clarity to your services and open drives to how you can maybe a bit more profitable. Love the piece on the profit margins, Claire. Thank you for answering all those detailed questions. And while you're presenting, I did a poll about having you back do some more topics. So of course it was a yes. So Claire and I can talk offline after and set up some future sessions with her.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. Thanks for having me. Thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure.